Professional wrestling has seen many, and I mean many, celebrities play in their ballpark. We've seen guys like Mr. T, Lawrence Taylor, Shaquille O'Neal, Floyd Mayweather, David Arquette, all of the big names out there. But none of those celebrities were really able to kind of break that little glass ceiling of what a true professional wrestler is. But there were two guys that were able to stand out, and one of them decided to really make professional wrestling their career. I'm sure if you clicked on the video, you've guessed it by now. We're going to be talking about how Logan Paul may have saved the WWE. Now, before we get into the video, if you guys enjoy professional wrestling content, especially WWE content, make sure you guys subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And now let's talk about how Logan Paul may have saved the WWE when it comes to the celebrity aspect of professional wrestling. Most of you guys know by now, but WrestleMania 1 was main evented by Mr. T teaming up with Hulk Hogan against Paul Orndorff and Rowdy Roddy Piper. I don't think people realize how monumental at the time this actually was. We were talking about one of the biggest stars in the world, and Mr. T from the A-Team is now going to get into a ring with other professional wrestlers, guys that fake fight in the middle of a ring, and he's going to be in the match. One of the biggest things that wasn't talked about when it comes to this moment is the fact that they took it very serious. Mr. T would go on SNL with Hulk Hogan and they would really hype it up, and Mr. T would talk about how he's taking it serious. He's this big jack guy, he's taking it serious, he's gonna beat up Paul Orndorff and Rowdy Roddy Piper, and he's taking it like he is a professional wrestler, and professional wrestling is real. Now, this is where the official bar for celebrities is going to be set when it comes to professional wrestling. Now, don't get me wrong. The match, when I watched it, wasn't anything that special, but obviously this was a completely different time period. I am so used to modern day wrestling. So at that time of wrestling, it wasn't a quote unquote terrible match, but it wasn't anything special. It wasn't until about WrestleMania 11 where I believe you had the first true, I would say, really athlete that could be a professional wrestler and look like a professional wrestler had a match. You had Lawrence Taylor taking on Bam Bam Bigelow. Now, Lawrence Taylor is one of the greatest linebackers, if not one of the greatest defensive players of all time when it comes to the NFL. So he actually fit the bill perfectly of what a professional wrestler would look like. He had the athleticism, and it wasn't a bad match at all. Like, Bam Bam Bigelow did a great job on making us believe that Lawrence Taylor was a professional wrestler in the moment. And if you look at solely like the highlights of the match, it wasn't a bad match. Like, you would look at it like, for that time period, it could be a normal mid-card match. And this is where I think we had our first instance of where someone looks like they could be a professional wrestler that's a celebrity from somewhere else. Now, this is where I also think Vince McMahon started to drop the ball, because it felt like everything else that he started doing when it came to celebrities was very gimmick-esque, right? He had Floyd Mayweather come in and do like a boxing match with Big Show, which kind of made like no sense at all. Like, no one was actually going to believe that Floyd Mayweather stood a single chance against Big Show in any aspect of anything. If they really boxed, you knew for a fact Floyd's getting knocked out. If they had a real match, you knew there's no way Floyd could do anything to Big Show where it was believable, but you knew the Vince McMahon way wasn't going to go that way. And then you had a lot of, gimmicky celebrity stuff where they were obviously just there to promote stuff. Like, you had the Snookies, you had the Jackass crew with like the Johnny Knoxvilles and stuff like that. And the one thing that I feel like that ended up doing was hurting the credibility of these celebrities actually getting in the ring and, feeling like they could be professional wrestlers. Now, let's quickly sidetrack to WCW, and they have a moment when it comes to a celebrity that literally many people say destroyed the company. Like, they said was the final nail in the coffin when it comes to the business. And that's kind of scary that we're mentioning a celebrity literally ruined a professional wrestling company. So in the year 2000, David Arquette was, I believe, promoting his movie Scream with WCW, just like all these celebrities do. They're there to, promote these things. And for whatever reason, Eric Bischoff decided to write in having David Arquette win the WCW championship. We're talking about the company's most prestigious prize just went on like a 150-pound celebrity who looked nothing looked like the average guy in the crowd and was solely there to promote a movie. You had guys like Jeff Jarrett at the time, Diamond Dallas Page in the company, Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, all these big names, and you put the title on David Arquette. From this point on, there was no longer a prestige when it came to this title, because this guy who had no wrestling experience, did nothing in the ring to become believable, is now holding the biggest prize in your company. And many fans literally just changed the channel, and they said that this was officially the final nail in the coffin for them when it came to WCW as a promotion. Now, we've obviously had some cool matches where you had Johnny Knoxville against Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, which was, in my opinion, outside of a Pat McAfee and a Bad Bunny, two of the greatest performances that we've ever seen when it comes to like professional wrestling. Like, it felt very celebrity against professional wrestler-esque. A lot of gimmick things were happening there, and it felt exactly how I would think a celebrity versus real professional wrestler match would go. Now, I want to talk about Bad Bunny real quick. And Bad Bunny, in my opinion, is the first guy who looks like an average man became what looks like a professional wrestler. When Bad Bunny had his tag match with Damian Priest, it made me realize that Bad Bunny is taking this very serious. It made me realize that Bad Bunny wasn't just a fan of professional wrestling, but when they said that we'll give you an opportunity to have a match in professional wrestling, and we'll have someone like Damian Priest there to carry you just in case, he didn't want that. He went out, he trained, he put in the hours, and he put on a phenomenal match. But that wasn't going to be just it for Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny decided that now that he showed that he's a good enough professional wrestler, he wants to have a match in San Juan, Puerto Rico, the country that he's from, against the guy that he tagged with in a Puerto Rican, or was it a San Juan street fight or a Puerto Rican street fight? I forgot what they called it. And this was, in my opinion, one of the greatest celebrity matches we have ever watched. Now, don't get me wrong. He needed a dance partner like a Damian Priest who took great care of him and, you know, definitely led the match into the right directions. But to see him hit a Canadian destroyer the way he did, to see the moves that he pulled out, to see him take the bumps that he had to, the table spots that he took, the weapon usage, it showed us that, you know, a guy who, I don't know, Bad Bunny's maybe, what, 175 pounds, like 5'10", 5'11". He looks like your average guy on the street, but is also one of the most popular musicians in the world. And he put on a some people say 5-star match at Backlash in his hometown with a crowd that was electric. But there is one man that was better than all of these guys. There was one man that you literally look at him now and you go, he's literally one of the best wrestlers in the WWE. And that's Logan Paul. If I would have told you guys 5-6 years ago, 7, 8, 9 years ago, whenever Vine was around, that Logan Paul was going to be a professional wrestler, you might have actually believed me. In Logan Paul's early videos, he would wear like this wrestling singlet and try to like take people down and stuff. He had freak athleticism. You guys know that little Randy Orton spot where he jumps and like touches his toes in a split? Logan was doing that type of stuff. There was always signs showing us how athletic and how entertaining when it comes to like the athletic side of the world Logan Paul was. But obviously he went a different route. He went the YouTube route. He had obviously some bad stuff go on. He did the vlogs. He did these challenges, pranks and stuff like that. Got in a little trouble here, got a little trouble there. But for some reason, all roads led him to the WWE. Now, the first time we saw Logan Paul in a WWE ring, we saw him team up with The Miz against Dom and Rey. That match, he was okay. He wasn't anything special. He was decent. But you saw the pure athleticism he had. You saw the potential buildings of a professional wrestler. Now, many people thought, you know, Logan's just there because he wants to promote himself. You know, he wasn't really over with a lot of fans at the time, and a lot of people thought that he was just trying to repair his image, but it worked. We then saw him have a televised match against The Miz. Like, we saw him on WWE television, not just anything, right? Like, we saw him on TV taking on The Miz, and don't get me wrong, that match was okay. Miz definitely carried that match for that time period. But I think a lot of it was just Logan Paul learning professional wrestling. Because after this moment, you could tell he got into either Shawn Michaels' office, which I believe is where he ended up going, and he just said, I need to learn everything and I need to learn it now. And this guy is a sponge. Like, he is a sponge because the way that he learned this business, like, we're talking about this guy, in my opinion, after that Miz match, put on almost a 5-star match with everyone except Rey Mysterio for the United States title, which I'm going to get to in a second. But the Ricochet match, his Money in the Bank ladder match, his Roman Reigns match, all those matches, in my opinion, were like unbelievable. Like, we're talking about like some of the best matches in like the business, and it's being put on by an outsider, by a YouTuber, by a celebrity. Logan Paul has gotten so good and trusted in the WWE that they literally had him not only in Money in the Bank, they had him in the Elimination Chamber against Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, LA Knight, and Bobby Lashley. We're talking about potentially every single person on that list is a Hall of Famer, and you have Logan Paul on that list. Like, I don't think people realize how insane that is. They trust him so much that they had him beat Rey Mysterio for the United States title. We have a celebrity holding a mid-card title, a title that John Cena held. Does anyone not realize how insane that is? But the one super fascinating thing that I think comes out of Logan Paul, which this guy might be a future WWE champion, and I'm being completely serious about it. I think that there's a decent shot that they pulled a trigger on this guy holding either the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Championship. He is young enough, he's athletic enough, he's good enough on the mic, definitely good enough in the ring. There is one point where he's going to hold a title, but here's the one thing that I believe will always be his legacy. Logan Paul is officially taking celebrity status and outsiders to a level where you can't just have a random celebrity be involved in WWE anymore. You can't just bring somebody in who's not going to take it as serious as a Logan Paul ever again. He literally saved the WWE when it comes to celebrity appearances. Like, we're talking about, if you want to be a celebrity and you want to get in that ring, you have to take it as serious as Logan Paul did. You have to be as good as Logan Paul is. Because if you're not, you are always going to be taken to that standard. We are, as fans, never going to look at a professional wrestling match again that involves any celebrity and not say, well, is he as good as Logan Paul? Is he as good as a Bad Bunny? The bar is now set to, you have to be a professional wrestler if you're a celebrity. You have to spend those hours in a ring learning the business. You have to spend those hours learning to do the spots, the bumps, and all that stuff. They're not, in my opinion, I don't see them ever again throwing in some random person just to have them be there. I think Logan Paul's impact is going to be looked upon from years on out as one of the most influential people in WWE. And I know that's so crazy to say. Like, not only is his logo going to be in the middle of the ring for like the next 10 years, but we're going to talk about Logan Paul may have saved the WWE in terms of just any celebrity, yes, any celebrity interaction. Now, this is where I want to ask you guys, where do you rate Logan Paul, obviously among the celebrity wrestlers, but also, do you think that it was a good thing that we had a Logan Paul come by and show us what celebrities can do? Let me know that down in the comments below. And obviously, if you guys made it this far and you guys enjoyed this video, do me a small favor. Make sure to like the video. Helps more people see it. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. It tells me that I have so many people that are subscribed without noties on. If you guys want to see future videos when they come out, turn on those noties. I want to say I love each and every single one of you guys for being here. It's much love from me to you. Peace.